welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura and it is currently January 18th, so that means that I'm going to do my part 2 of my November manga haul. Yeah, it is a little bit late and I have quite a few hauls to film, so I thought that I would start with the one that I left off on, and that was my November haul. So basically this is all of the manga that I purchased from online sites in November. My previous November haul was titles that I bought secondhand at a local sale. I purchased quite a lot of manga in that sale. And then my third one is going to be the manga that I bought off of eBay, and I ended up winning a very large lot of single issue manga. So I will show that in my last November video. So as I go through the manga, you will notice that most of these are just continuations in a series. I think these were mostly pre-orders, so I don't think that they had anything to do with the sale. Like, it's already so late, I can't even remember why I bought them, apart from that they're continuations in a series. So I'll just go through them and show you what they are, and hopefully you will enjoy. And certainly if you've read any of these titles, let me know what you thought of them below. I have only read a handful of them so far. I'd really like to, of course, get into any of them anytime soon, but since I have so much to read, I don't know. I can never tell you when that's going to be. Anyway, let's just get into it. So the first title I picked up was Welcome to the Ballroom, Volume 2 by Tomo Takeuchi. This is a shonen sports manga about ballroom dance, which is kind of exciting. I think there is news that there's going to be an anime coming out for this, which is quite good because, you know, after reading the first volume, I think this is a very good series. I'm not going to say it's not a good series. It's a very good series, but I think that the art just doesn't quite make it for me for developing the action. I think that it could be quite a bit more dynamic, and I think that an anime would really help just like take this manga to another level, so, or take the story to another level. So I'm really think that you should check out the anime when it comes out. Really good series though, and from what I know, it's quite a short series, which is great for a sports series, because you know, sports series, they always go into like 20 and 30 volumes. I think this one is less than 10. I'll put the number on the screen, but I'm pretty sure this is a real short one. So it's a great one to get into. It's still pretty early, so it'll be easy to, you know, start picking up the volumes, and it's a really great story. So highly recommend it if you haven't picked it up yet. The next title I got was Sweetness and Lightning Volume 3 by Gino Amagakure. I have still only read the first volume of this. It wasn't terribly my favorite. It is a little bit slower than I was kind of hoping it to be, and I think that there are better kind of foodie type manga out there. I was hoping that for more humor, and I so far I haven't found it, but you know, that might develop in further volumes, so maybe that's where this is going. I don't know. Anyway, this is Volume 3, and that's all I have to say about it. Next I got Volume 2 of Happiness by Shuzo Oshimi. This is the same author of Flowers of Evil. Actually, my sister just picked up Flowers of Evil, and she's been reading it and quite enjoying it. She's also read this before I have, and also really enjoyed it, so I'm looking forward to getting to it at some point. I just really like the juxtaposition of the title with the kind of the content, and I think that the art looks quite good in it. There's some really interesting kind of artistic layout in this, so I'm interested in picking this up soon, like I say for every other title. I picked up the 5th volume of Requiem of the Rose King by Aya Kano. I still have only read, I think, the first 3 volumes of this. This is the title that is based off of The War of the Roses, or more particularly Richard III, or an early draft of Richard III by Shakespeare. So it is actually based more off of the Shakespeare play than the actual events, as far as I can tell. But it's a really good kind of dark shoujo series, which is really unusual, with gorgeous art, and it's really quite complex. So I think this is one that's really good to probably wait to read the whole thing all at once, because I think that there's quite a lot of plot twists in it. I'm actually going to hold off and wait to read this at a later date. I bought the 3rd volume of Princess Jellyfish by Akiko Higashimura. This is one of my favorite titles for 2016. I'm so happy with this title. It is just like the cutest and so funny and relatable, and just like totally charming and absolutely delightful, and I love it. So I'm really, really happy with the third volume. It just continues to be good. Basically, it is about a group of girl fujoshi, or kind of nerds, and they just really are, they have like a major social anxiety, especially towards men. So they live in this sort of compound for girls only, and they meet a stylish girl who comes in and kind of changes their viewpoint, kind of introduces them to the world, and it's just really, really delightful and fun, and I love it. So a really good josei title if you are interested in picking something up. I think it's actually an easy josei to get into, because I know a lot of josei can be quite really kind of complicated, or controversial themes often appear in josei. This one I think is pretty tame, so really neat, easy one to get into if you want to try some josei manga. The next title I bought was new to me. This is Cells at Work by Kane Shimizu. This is essentially a manga about how the body fights disease. All of the cells in your body, including the red blood cell and the white blood cell, are personified in this manga, and it's all short stories of different attacks on the body and how the cells deal with those attacks. It's as straightforward as that. It's really cute in some points, it's a little bit funny in some points. It is kind of dry because it's very educational heavy, but it's just such an unusual and fun kind of title to pick up. I think it kind of reminds me a little bit of Hetalia, because that one is more about like political relationships between countries and how all the countries are personified. So this is kind of similar, or in like a similar vein. So this is about cells, and I thought it was quite interesting. I'm not going to say that this was like the greatest comic I've ever read, but I think that it's so unusual in its content that I think that it's quite a interesting manga. I don't know that I learned a whole lot, though. I think I already knew all of these like current, body functions and what these particular things do, but yeah, I'm interested in picking up more of this, so hopefully I will have a chance to do that in the year sometime. Another title that's new to me is this massive omnibus of Scumbag Loser by Mikoto Yamaguchi. I would assume Yamaguchi, but it says T, so we'll see. And I didn't know anything about this. I just really loved the cover design. I really loved the title of it, and of course it's going to have parental advisory warning, so I don't know, it was just sort of intriguing to me. It does seem a little bit unusual for a Yen Press offering, so, of course I just went in without reading anything about it, and, when I picked this up, my sister was complaining about it because she wanted to pick it up. Like, we both had the same idea that this is something that we wanted to read. So I have since flipped through it. I haven't read it yet, but it does look like a horror manga, and basically I think it is about this main character who is basically known as like the school perv, and he tries to prove that he is like more normal, I guess, by or tries to prove that he has a girlfriend or something, and he invites someone that he knows to the school who happens to be some like parasitic creature or an alien or something. So it actually gets, it looks really intense, and I'm really intrigued to read it. I think it is a self-contained omnibus, so just one full story in this manga, and this is when this Yen Press like large size works, when they have a large book like this. So I actually think this is probably one of Yen Press's nicer printings. I'm interested in reading it, and I will probably let you know about it when I get to it, but I don't know too much about it at this point. It looks like it's going to be a little disturbing, at the very least. I picked up volume 9 of Genshiken second season by Kyo Shimoku. I don't even know where they are in the story yet. I think I've only read like the first 3 volumes of the second season. I wasn't as excited with having kind of an all-girl cast in this manga, so I really truly like absolutely adore the first season of Genshiken. This one I'm not 100% sure about, but I will have to read the whole thing to kind of decide but I love those boys so much in the first season, so yeah. Anyway, volume 9 is out now, and I don't know how long this is, so I have nothing to say about it except for it's volume 9. Another title that is new to me, and I have not read it, so I can't say too much about it. This is The Black Museum, The Ghost and the Lady, Book 1 by Kazuhiro Fujita. I bought this again solely on the merit of the cover. I don't know too much about this title, but I think that the second volume is out, and I have been hearing that the people who have been picking this up, or I've noticed picking this up, have really enjoyed this. Through my initial flip through, I'm not a fan of the art style. It does look a little bit minimalistic and heavy-handed at the same time, so it's just, there's something off about it, but we will have to see. It does look like it's got some horror elements and kind of British Empire type elements in it, so it could be good. I don't know too much about it, but it is a hardcover from Kodansha, so they must have thought that it was important enough to put into a hardback. And then the last title I actually picked up from Amazon, and it's quite funny to me because I probably purchased this almost a year before I received it. It was sort of a last copy on Amazon, and I kept getting messages from them saying, this is out of stock, we can't restock it, do you want us to cancel this order? Because they just couldn't find it. I decided, you know, I'll just leave the order, I'll just wait and wait and wait. I had no reason to cancel, and I wasn't too worried about, you know, the $15 that it was going to cost me to get. And if it did happen that they found it, then, you know, it'd be fantastic. And they did find it, and it's in great condition. Wasn't like hiding under a bookshelf, you know, all bent and torn. So they did find it, and that is Mr. Arashi's Amazing Freak Show by Suehiro Maruo. I am currently really loving Japanese horror manga. It's not something that I kind of expected of myself, because I dislike horror in every other genre or format, and anything that's sort of horrific or supernatural, or, you know, I just avoid those things so much, but I really truly love Japanese horror manga. I don't even like Japanese horror films, just manga. Yeah, really interested in reading this. This is my first manga by this author, but I know that there is another title that is out there. I think it's like Paranormal Island or something. I can't remember, but I will put the title up on the screen. So this one just looks really interesting. I think it is based off of a Japanese legend or folktale about a child who gets trapped in a traveling freak show. And so that's basically what this is. The art in it looks great. And it is published by Blast Books, and I don't know if you remember, but I did read another title by Blast Books earlier in the year. That was Hideshi Hino's Hell Baby, and you know, it was sort of a fair title. It wasn't my favorite thing, but it was an entertaining read, and I'm really glad to have it in my collection. If you remember about that one, the cover and the contents were in reverse publication, so as you can see, it kind of looks like an English language cover, you know, in the English reading order, but actually it starts literally at the back of the book, and that is where the manga begins. So the contents are in the correct order, but the cover is in the English order, so totally weird, and it just seems really suitable for a surreal horror manga. Yeah, anyway, I'm really looking forward to reading this. I think it's going to be a really good read. Hopefully I'll get to it in the year. I may end up saving it again for, you know, a horror readathon or you know, spooky readathon or something, probably in October, because that happened last year and I thought it was kind of fun. So I may end up doing that again. Yeah, so anyway, I'm just looking forward to reading it. I'm really glad this came, and, you know, this is a lesson in patience. Just keep waiting. They may find it eventually. Yeah. So that was good. So that's everything that I got online in November, and if you've read any of these titles, I'd love to hear it, especially if you read Mr. Arashi's Amazing Freak Show or The Black Museum. Those two, I'm particularly interested in hearing what people had to say about it. But, you know, certainly if you've read any of these, let me know down in the comments what you thought of it, and I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.